And welcome to episode 41 of the TechnoBuffalo Show. I'm one of your two hosts for today, Sean Ani, editor-in-chief of the site, and I'm joined by Deputy Managing Editor Todd Hazelton.
Hey everybody,
How are you doing today, Todd?
I'm good.
It's our favorite day of the year.
Yeah, April Fools.
Ugh,
It's very hard to write news because you don't know.
you have to, we're always very careful at TechnoBuffalo. We always double-check everything, but on this day, we sometimes triple check, quadruple check.
Yeah, I think a couple years ago I got fooled. It was somebody had like a Nokia phone, and I think it was like loaded running Windows Phone or something, which at the time was like, whoa, this is weird, and it was an April Fool's joke, but I thought it was real. And now, I mean, of course, obviously, Nokia phones run Windows Phone.
Yeah, I don't know. This day's always tricky, and yeah, some of the stuff is just not funny.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to laugh at it too because you're like, all right, like, come on, I have other stuff to do. But
Exactly.
I used to love Phone Scoop every year, another site. They used to just always on April Fools just had like 8 fake news stories, and I don't think they're doing it this year. I checked this morning, and I kind of liked that because you expected it, it was there. If you wanted it, you could go there, and then they had like their other site too, and that was kind of fun. But
Did you go to Amazon this morning?
I didn't.
Go to Amazon right now. If you haven't been there yet, it should work.
Let's see, what are we seeing here?
But we'll wait while
Oh wow, old school Amazon. Circa
old school
1999.
Amazon.
I remember when it looked like this.
So do I.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why they picked 99 though. It's not
Yeah.
like it's an anniversary year or something. I don't know.
Right.
It's odd, but yeah, that made me laugh when I went there this morning. I
That's
was
pretty great.
because honestly, for those that follow our deals posts on the site, I always check the deals every morning, so I have to log into a system to take a look at those. And I went over there. I was like, "Where's my login? Wait, what?"
What's going on?
I just want to log in to look at the deals for the day. But speaking of April Fool's jokes, OnePlus and the drone.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, they teased it for so long that it didn't seem like it was going to be like an April Fool's joke, and then it sort of is, but it's not. They're like, well, it does exist, but it's like super limited quantities, and you have to wonder, like, did they just build it for fun and then, happen to launch it on today and say it's April Fool's because they don't have a lot of units to go around, or like, how does that work? I don't get the joke behind it really. Um,
Yeah, well, like Null Gaming says here, the OnePlus joke was a little funny. It took some planning. Yes, I agree. It took I can't believe how long they played the joke out.
right. You have to, like, are fans upset then that, like, this is the announcement? Like, they were kind of teasing something, and then they're like, oh, it's just this.
Well, I mean, you could immediately point to the fact that the drone is sold out as fans weren't upset, but for all we know, there were only 10 of them.
Right, exactly.
We don't know. And for those that don't know the situation, OnePlus had been teasing that there was going to be a drone released. They even confirmed it yesterday. It's called the DR1.
Hmm.
And then when it showed up this morning, it was about it could fit in your hand. It was so tiny.
Right.
And they went April Fool's, but is it really an April Fool's joke if it's
Real.
actually exists?
Yeah. The good thing is, if you can't get that, there's like, I was actually randomly looking at drones yesterday on Amazon just to see what they're priced at and what kind of stuff they have. There's tons of really small ones that are affordable. You can pick them up. But my thing, I feel like if I get a drone, I'd want one with a camera, so you can kind of see. Like, that's the whole fun of it to me.
Right. And Null Gaming also says that the drone was just a OnePlus branded Cheerspin CX10.
Oh, there you go.
So it kind of real, kind of, I don't know. It was very odd joke. Odd
Yeah.
joke. But speaking of jokes, and I have seen some people, and Sachin Bahal asks here, would you want Amazon dash buttons to be a real thing? To the best of our knowledge, they are. I did some. I had heard some people going, "Oh, it was an April Fool's joke," but as USA Today is claiming it's not a joke. The Verge is claiming it's not a joke. Many publications are stressing that it's not a joke.
I don't think it's a April Fool's joke at all. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's a really cool idea, and it seems neat. I mean, just this little button you could put anywhere and tap it, and you need new paper towels or new detergent, and then it syncs with your smartphone over Wi-Fi and places the order, and then it's delivered. But it's in a closed beta right now, but they're free. Even if it is a joke, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think yesterday a lot of people were like, "This is incredible." It's a great way for Amazon to receive orders from people when they're not near their phone. I mean, it's simple. You just tap the button and then it comes. And one of the concerns that we were talking about yesterday is like, well, what if your kid goes by and hits the button 100 times, and it only registers once, and it won't ship more than that until the shipment arrives, I guess. And you can always easily cancel it. So
right, which I think that's a great system, because that actually had been one of my concerns. Little Billy walks by and, oh, mommy, look, I can press the button too.
Right. Yeah.
And you end up with 20 pallets of paper towels.
Right. Yeah.
But no, it's an interesting idea. Is it something I will actually use? I don't know, because I'm a little too price conscious. I mean, there are times where a third-party seller on Amazon has a better price than Amazon itself, and I'll choose to go with them instead. So the idea, I mean, yes, it's very convenient, but the idea of just blindly ordering something is not super appealing to me.
Right. And I noticed that, I mean, Amazon, for those kinds of products too, household things, they have subscription services, and you save if you subscribe. So like I was actually yesterday looking at dog bones, and I think it was like $9 for the pack. But if I subscribed to have it delivered once a month, it was like $8. Mm-hmm. And I don't think this would play into the subscription model. But
no, it wouldn't. And I agree. Because I'm on several subscriptions. For like, I have oatmeal every morning for breakfast, so I have a subscription to my oatmeal.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, and it's far cheaper to order it via the subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are running ahead of yourself for whatever reason, you can go in and tell them, I need a shipment now, and you still get the subscription price.
Right.
So, I don't know.
This seems great for people, especially if you live maybe, 15, 20-minute drive from the store or something like that, and you can wait that extra day or 2 days, and then it's delivered, and you're expecting it, and you need it, though. But, like, for me, I live in the city. I could just walk downstairs. I live above a shop where I can buy all that stuff. So I don't know that I would use it that often. But.
No, I agree with you there. I mean, Amazon really changed the game for living in a small town such as I do, where we have 2 grocery stores. We have a Walmart and we have a Midwestern chain called Hy-Vee. And so there's a lot of products they don't carry. If you are reading a recipe and it calls for something even the least bit off, the only way to get it is to mail order it.
Right.
So Amazon was a big game changer for us, especially when they did start selling household products. So I can see where this would work better for that type of situation. But like you're saying, you can just walk downstairs and buy your thing and go right back upstairs.
Right. Like I did that with paper towels yesterday.
Yeah. So
easier.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I find it interesting they're free, though. I'm wondering if there's going to be a limit on how many you can have.
I know, yeah, it seems like that. And, like, can you switch them out, Like, can you just register to order shaving cream instead of paper towels when you're like, oh, I don't really need the paper towel one? It seems like you could using your phone, but it would probably still have that label with the brand.
Right. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah.
The other topic we want to touch on today is coverage maps. So, T-Mobile made this announcement this week that they had the best coverage map out there because, it was based off of real people and all that.
Yeah.
So...
Well, here, I thought it was awesome because I was looking around and it says, around my apartment here I can expect 7 megabits per second down, but at the beach it didn't really have anything. It just said, like, coverage is there. And I was like, oh, that's good to know. I'm not going to rely on T-Mobile then for the beach and stuff. But you're saying, and this is customer data. It says they pull it in twice a month, I think, so you can really see the average scores. But you're saying you found the scores are not true.
Okay, so now when you're looking at the map, there are little hexagon check marks that show up that say those are customer verified.
Mm-hmm.
If there is no check mark, then it's not a customer verified. Well, in my area, my specific address, you can see my little road on the map. It's showing me full 4G LTE coverage and all that. I have never once gotten an LTE signal. I don't get T-Mobile signal, period, standing outside.
That's really bad that it should even say that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that to me means that the map is almost useless, because if you can't rely on it, then what's the point of the map? But I do love the idea. If it was to tell the truth, I think it's something all carriers could benefit from and should mimic.
Let's put it this way: when I do want to make a phone call, like let's say I've lost power, or since I use internet phones here, if my internet goes down, I have to use my cell phone to call my cable company to get them to fix it. I have to drive up to the head of the road to get a cell phone signal.
That's insane.
Yeah,
so
when I'm inside, when the internet's operating, I'm on Wi-Fi calling.
Right.
But yeah, if I need to go off Wi-Fi calling, I've got to drive up to the end of the road.
Right.
So, you can say that your map is super accurate and all that. I'm just one use case, and I can tell you no.
And the one thing that everybody should know in general, and T-Mobile's fixing this a little bit with new Spectrum rollouts, but in general, T-Mobile signal is pretty bad indoors, and so this map wouldn't reflect that either. I mean, you wouldn't be able to go to this map and say, hey, I'm going to have LTE in my home, because it's not necessarily true. And that's why they have the Wi-Fi routers for free or with the deposit.
Yeah, which I did pick up one of those routers. I called them, and that's been great. It's a good router.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just found it interesting, that because I was like, oh, let's go see what they say about where I live. That's all totally not true.
Yeah, that's bad.
Sorry, but it's not true. From Sachin Bahal, since we were speaking about all these April Fool's jokes, since today is April Fool's Day, what has been each of your favorite April Fool's jokes that has gone on by a tech company, i.e. Google, Samsung, etc.? Honestly, I find a lot of them really weak.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Hulu Pets, which is what's really funny is Hulu Pets happened and Redbox did a Pet Box joke. So that shows you how hard it is to come up with a good April Fool's joke.
And T-Mobile did, like uncarrier for pets. So
did they really?
Yeah. So I guess everybody.
Okay, so you've got 3 companies that did pet jokes.
Yeah. Wow.
Every year at TechnoBuffalo we discuss, do we want to do an April Fool's joke? And we'll toss around a couple ideas, and then we just go, you know what? It feels too forced.
Yeah, it does feel forced.
And so that's why we've always come up with different ideas, like TechnoBuffalo is rebranding itself as Knitting Buffalo, and it's going to be all about knitting. And one joke that was tossed around this year was that we no longer felt the buffalo represented us as the correct animal, and we were going to go on a hunt for our new spirit animal. And by the end of the joke, we were going to be called Technoplatypus. But at the end of the day, it's just like, we like to be taken seriously. Yes, we like to have fun, but we also like to be taken seriously. And so many of the jokes just feel forced.
Yeah, it does feel forced. I mean, look, I guess it's good for consumers that are going out there and stuff, but it's also our job to write the news, and it's hard to write the news when everybody's kind of joking.
Yeah. Although I will say, if Google Maps wants to keep the PacMan feature permanently, I'm all for that.
Yeah. If you guys haven't tried it, you got to go to Google Maps, and on the lower left-hand side, there's a PacMan game. It's like a level. It turns your streets into Pac-Man. It's pretty neat.
Well, what I've been doing is making myself go to towns where I know they have really screwy streets.
So
Because like New York
long
City, oh
curves.
fine, you're on a grid system.
Right, yeah, it's the same.
I'm going on to all these places that have like diagonals.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
They should make that an app. Just launch it so you could always play it.
Yeah, exactly. From Brezen Franco, related to the Pac-Man Google Maps thing, what was better, last year's Pokemon Maps or this year's Pac Maps? I think this year's Pac Maps. It's a little bit. I love the Pokemon Maps, but the Pac Maps seems to be a little bit more. It appeals to everybody.
Yeah, the Pokemon one is fun though. You're like looking around for them, but and people found them all right this year. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Well, I found 150 of them. What I didn't know was that they had a hidden one that wasn't on the chart.
What?
And so I missed out on getting the 150 first.
That's awesome.
Now, I don't know if you've seen this April Fool's joke going around from Dominique Weber. MS-DOS for phone, best thing ever.
I did see that this morning. Microsoft had it.
That one did make me chuckle.
Yeah, that's true because it was kind of like a throwback, just like Amazon's homepage. I like that. It's kind of like, oh, like here's what. Look how far we've come. Almost is the way I see that. You go to Amazon's homepage and you're like, holy cow, like that's what we saw in 1999.
I know.
And same with MS-DOS for phone. Yeah.
Well, here's my question though: is where did Microsoft find 3.5-inch discs?
I don't know. Probably have a warehouse of them still.
I wonder if anyone's popped them in. What's actually on there?
Yeah, I wonder too.
Because what was it? They held 3.4 megabytes.
Yeah, I want to go right into Pi's numbers, but it's 3 point something.
Yeah, I can't remember. They were so small. I mean, I remember when I used to buy like Star Wars X-Wing, the video game. It was like now insert disc 18.
Yeah, that's like I used to Flight Sim came on the floppy disks.
Yeah, yeah. You'd have to sit there and load each disc to finally load the entire game. Moving on to more general questions, and I'm really fascinated by this product. From Sachin Bahal, what do you guys think about the Sous Chromebit?
I thought it was neat. I really want to play with one, but it's basically
yeah.
a stick that has Chrome OS loaded on it. I think it's priced at like $100, $99, coming later, and then runs Chrome OS. When you plug it into like a monitor, so like that's the whole computer, which I think is really neat.
Yeah, no, the I have a Seuss's Chromebox. I think it was $119. I don't remember how much it cost. I've got that hooked up to my main television. So like if I want to sit back and watch movie trailers or whatever, it's super easy for me to do. Also, maybe using a VPN, I can sometimes watch from other countries. But the idea of it just being a stick really interests me.
Yeah, it does. Just toss it in your bag. I mean, I'm kind of like, do I need a Chromecast if I can have a full computer?
Oh,
I mean, it's a lot more, but
I didn't even think about that. Think about when you're in a hotel.
yeah.
I mean, yes, you would have to carry a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse.
Yeah,
Okay,
but they're small these days. I mean, I have a couple of portable ones that I've bought. I don't know. I always have this dream that I'm going to use like my phone or a tablet as my computer, and I've tried, and I just can't get there. But so these Bluetooth keyboards do work.
Yeah, no, I use a Apple Bluetooth keyboard for my Chromebox, and because I sit all the way across the room, for the first time ever, I bought one of those mice that's just the trackball on the side and you move with your thumb.
Oh yeah.
Which I now see why I've never bought one of those before. But it lets me sit all the way across the room, so that's nice. But no, I'm very, very interested by the Chromebit. I really want to try it out when it comes out.
Yeah, I still need to get a Chromebook. I don't know. People are saying, I was reading recently, there was another journalist that was saying, it's performed much better than Windows and OS X computers, like much faster. I mean, obviously it's super limited, but that's compelling because next to me I have a Windows 8.1 netbook that I've talked about on the show. It's like $140, but it does run out of memory like all the time. It'll say like if I have too many tabs open, it'll be like running low on memory, which is annoying. So I think I want to try Chrome OS and get that going. Have you ever hooked one up with HDMI to a big screen? I'm curious how it looks.
Yes, I have. It looked fine.
Good.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll do that.
looked fine. My Chromebox is also it's hooked up via HDMI to a 55-inch television.
Well, there you go. All right.
Yeah, and it looks just fine, works just fine. You know, I mean, the only problem, like when you're sitting all the way across the room, sometimes you're like, what's that say? Oh, okay. You know, so you need to blow up the text sometimes. But no, in general, it works out great. You know, also yesterday they announced though, and I wasn't 100% clear on this. Is there one Chromebook that is going to also be converted to a tablet?
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't really sure on that either. I didn't dig deep. Jacob wrote the post for us, but I'm most attracted by the prices. One starts at $150, which I think is among the lowest prices for a new one that we've seen yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not much of a tablet interface, so I'm not sure that it would work very well. I mean, Chrome OS in general. I think you still need a keyboard and mouse for it to make sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. From Brazen Franco, who got the highest score on PacMan Maps? And I can't believe I'm using my data to watch the stream on the train. Well,
Nice.
Thank you for being so dedicated to the show.
Yeah.
I don't know who got the highest map. In my area around me, there were only 2 roads.
Just going up and down, running away, and then chasing.
One was going diagonal, one was going up and down. I couldn't get away from the coast no matter where I went. So I think it's somewhat determined by how densely populated your area is as well.
How many getaway streets there are.
Yeah, exactly. It took some getting used to figure out where, okay, if I go up this one, I'll show up down here.
Yeah, where do you come in? That was one of the things I had. And I have a curved road near me, and as I was going up, it would hit like the arch of the road and then stop as if I was at a corner. So I have to hit the up arrow again and that kind of thing.
Yeah, same happened to me. Because actually I went over to Manchester, England, because I knew there were some really crazy streets there. And so I was playing in Manchester, and I hit a circle drive. I was like, uh-oh. Oh, man, when I lived in Phoenix, I lived on a cul-de-sac. I should see what happens with a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, what does happen there? It might just end like a dead end.
Yeah, ooh, that could... We're getting way too into...
Yeah.
Oh, good grief. From Sachin Bahal, what apps do you guys rely on the most for your day-to-day personal lives and your work lives at TechnoBuffalo?
Mine are pretty simple. Everything Google for work and personal. I use them both on Android and on my iPhone. So that's Gmail. We use Google Docs all the time, so Sheets and stuff like that. And then Twitter for work, Feedly for work, because I follow all the RSS feeds. Instagram for personal, and then Facebook, kind of tracking people. But my apps aren't that exciting. And I've been playing Two Dots, the game, which is really fun. It's like a puzzle game where you got to connect the dots, and that's pretty much my day-to-day, like my must-have apps, I think.
I'm a weather fanatic.
Yeah, I always think I'm going to be, and I buy them a lot, but I never actually use them.
I only use the free ones, but I constantly am checking weather. I don't know why, because I never go outside.
Dark Sky's been my favorite, but I got a new one on the iPhone. It says funny things, like based on your weather. What's it called? It's got like Siri's voice. It's called Carrot 5, I guess. Let's see if she says anything right now.
Conditions. That cloud looks like a rhinoceros in hate.
It says the cloud looks like a rhinoceros. I don't know. It tries to be funny, but it's
the
$3 or whatever I paid for it.
But like you, Todd, all the Google apps, Google Calendar, Google Mail, and all that, which I use on an iPhone. I know the joke is not lost on me.
Yeah.
What else do I use on a daily basis?
I love I use Fantastical on my iPhone, Fantastical 2, and then I just wrote it up for this site. I haven't bought it yet. They gave us like a demo that actually ends today. But I've been using it nonstop, and it's great. It's an awesome calendar app on desktop and the iPhone. And I can write things like, meeting at 5 on April 23rd, and it just drops it in there. So it's really easy to do. But it's like $40, I think, right now, and then it's going to be $50 on the desktop. So it's a little expensive, but it's the best calendar app I've used.
No, I mean, it looked really interesting, but I can't see paying that much for a calendar app.
Yeah. But I think it's a lot cheaper on the iPhone, and it works just as well.
Yeah. You know what I've actually started using a lot of is, and it's just such a simple thing, is the Apple Notepad.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact it syncs across, all my devices.
Yeah.
So I always have all my notes in front of me, and as you know, Todd, I love taking notes on.
Yeah, I have that too, and I've been using it for years. I've always used the Apple Notepad, and I was with other journalists at a dinner once, and I said, I love this, and they're like, you trust that? Like, they've had, I guess, experiences where they've lost everything, so they've since moved on to Evernote and stuff like that. But I've never had a bad experience with Notepad, and I've been using it.
I haven't, and it's not like I'm keeping, state secrets in it.
Right, yeah.
From Dominique Weber, just as an idea for next year's April Fools, you could do something like Good Mythical Morning did today, where they dubbed their entire video in Spanish. For a site like ours, it'd have to be something like Klingon.
Yeah.
I want to see us, I want to see John speaking with Klingon.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I will say that, have you gone over and looked at ThinkGeek's?
I haven't yet today, but I know every year they have some great products.
They've got some real winners this year. They do every year. And I love the fact that sometimes they become real products.
Yeah. Wasn't like the Pixel tie once an April Fool's? I don't know if it was, but they've had products that were April Fool's and people really wanted.
Well, I know the iPad game cabinet started off as an
That's
April
right.
Fool's joke.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Now, last year, you know my love of Nerf. I wanted the Nerf nuke.
Yeah.
To be really bad. But, yeah. From Tobor O, or Tobor 0, can't quite tell. Hi, guys. What's your thoughts on the new Chromebook Pixel 2? Thanks. I don't believe either of us have gotten to try it yet.
No, I haven't seen it, but the price is just so out there for what it can do that I'm not really interested in it. And I know it's probably not for me. It's probably for developers or enthusiasts who really want the best hardware to go with Chrome OS. But for me, if I'm spending that kind of money, I need a real computer. At least go some Intel Core processor and stuff like that. But and I know it has that, but I just don't feel like I'm taking advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe, the thought that I was thinking is maybe Google I/O or later this year, maybe not during that they're going to announce new features for Chrome OS that really take advantage of that power. Why put that kind of power in a computer? It's not really a glorified web browser. So
yeah. From Brazen Franco, Chrome OS HDMI dongle, Raspberry Pi 2, Android HDMI dongle, or newer laptop. Who's the best option today to replace my old notebook as a TV media center?
I haven't used a Raspberry Pi. I'd say anything with expandable storage because you'd probably want to, unless you're streaming it from somewhere else on your home network, but you'd probably be nice to load it up with a lot of movies and stuff that's not always streaming.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. Because we kind of need to know, are you going to be streaming from somewhere else? Do you need local storage? We kind of need to know a little bit more. So
otherwise, I'd go with just get a Roku. I don't know.
Exactly. Because as we all know, we love the Roku around here. From Sachin Bahal, and someone else asked a question somewhat related to this, so we will get to that in just a second. From Sachin Bahal, when do you think the OnePlus 2 will be announced? When was the OnePlus 1? Was like June last year?
It was last summer. Maybe this summer. I really don't know when it's going to be announced. And I don't know that they're on that kind of product cycle and stuff like that. So we'll see. But I'm most interested to see whether or not OnePlus keeps the same pricing model this time.
Yeah. Yeah. And from Rockstar 103, related to the OnePlus 2, do you think that OnePlus will do a better job of making their new phone more available to people than they did with the last phone? We can
No,
only hope.
I don't know that they would, because I think their business model with the OnePlus One was to create a device and then build it on super thin margins. And what I mean by that is they're not making a lot of money off of it, and then while selling it, making sure that they're actually getting rid of the products they have, so that they're not sitting on, unsold phones, because they can't afford to do that. So I think the whole way they did the invitation system was on purpose, so that they were getting rid of what they're building and making sure that everything's sort of profit. And I would expect that they do that again, because I don't think they're sitting on a boatload of cash.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I would hope that it would be more available, but Todd raises all excellent points.
Yeah.
Also from Rockstar 103, do you guys think the gold iWatch is a better alternative to a Rolex? Nope.
No, I don't know. I think the Rolex name still has its place.
Well, I think there's a couple things here. First off, the Apple Watch relies completely on the iPhone. And so, well, not completely, but close enough. So the technology is going to get outdated. Let's say we get 2-3 years down the road and you get a new iPhone. At that time, it may not work with the Apple Watch. Also, the fact that it is just a digital watch at the end of the day. The Rolex brand name, the Rolex work, craftsmanship, all that's what adds up to Rolex being valuable. That's not to say the craftsmanship in the Apple Watch is bad. It's just it's almost like comparing apples and oranges, to be honest. They're two very, very different products.
But you do see enough where the Swiss watch market is reacting. Tag Heuer announced they're making that Android Wear watch and stuff like that. I just feel like, a Rolex, especially like a gold Rolex, has sort of been, like that retirement gift that people get, and then it's passed down through families. And I don't know, but I don't see the Apple Watch sort of being a family heirloom.
Yeah.
Sure, it'll always have value because of the gold that's in it, but maybe just to melt it down value. Like I don't think it's.
Yeah. An update from Brazen Franco on his question. I need storage in addition to my current NAS. Then you're going to need to go with a laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to... Well, also, a lot of people have had success using Mac Minis as media centers.
Yeah.
You might look into that. There's a lot of online guides about turning... You don't even have to get a current Mac Mini. You can go out and find a used one from a couple generations ago, and I've seen a lot of people have success with that route. Matter of fact, we actually have an article on our site where a former employee here turned a original Apple TV, the big gray one, into a media center for like $40.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you definitely need to do something more than like an HDMI dongle. It sounds like. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, this is could be a hot button topic here. From Rockstar 103, do you think the concept of one port on a laptop brought upon by Apple will catch on?
I don't know. Maybe eventually, but I don't. It's not enough for me. It's hard because when the MacBook Air launched, we were kind of thinking like, oh, there's no CD drive, remember, or DVD drive. And that seemed like a big thing because we were still relying on all that media. Mm-hmm. And now Apple's argument is that everything is sort of wireless and cloud storage, and you're streaming anyway, so you're not attaching all these, hard drives and stuff, because you could, you'll have NAS, network attached storage, and all that kind of stuff. But I still like the option to have more than one port, and without a bunch of accessories and dongles and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm sure it'll catch on.
I recently inherited one of the older, well, not older, but a year or two ago, MacBook Pros from the company, and I was so excited that I had 2 DisplayPort.
Yeah.
Because I could. I'm sorry. It has 1 DisplayPort, or does it have 2? I don't know. I was using 1 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI. But the fact that now I could do my 3 monitor setup when I'm traveling if I'm near other monitors,
Mhm.
and I had a USB hard drive attached as well, and I was using a mouse and all that. The idea of also having to carry extra dongles now just does not appeal to me.
Yeah. I mean, if it had USB Type-C and maybe one other, either that, one more, or one more regular USB or something, I'd probably be sold on it. But
Yeah, because
it just
I'm
seems
sorry,
one too
I
slow.
like to use a physical mouse. I'll use a touchpad when I have to, but I prefer to use a physical mouse.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Now, I'd call me old school. I don't care. But oh my goodness. From Null Gaming, what do you guys think of the new Gear VR GS6 S6E version and the future of mobile VR? I'm still not sure that it needs to exist.
Oh, I think it's so cool. I love the Gear VR is really neat. I don't use it all that often, but it's pretty. It's just stunning that this is your phone sort of providing that experience. And the new version for the S6, S6E, I love that they added support for the Edge as well, in addition to the S6. And then they added its own charging port so you can go a little longer, especially Galaxy S6 battery life's kind of meh, so that's good. And then the future, I think there's a lot of future with this, and I want to see where they keep going, Samsung and Oculus together. But it's a lot of fun. One of the things I wish, and maybe I'm crazy, is that you can get notifications when you're wearing it. So like if you're watching a movie, it'll pop up and it'll say like you have a new email and stuff. It would be cool if you could interact with that with your voice or something, So
Yeah.
like respond and then it brings up the email, and that'll be really neat. Maybe that'll be down the road.
Well, I think my big problems with it is the fact that the Gear VR so far are specific to certain phones.
Mm-hmm.
If I buy a Gear VR, I should be able to drop any phone, any Samsung phone, fine, let's restrict it that much. But I should be able to drop any Samsung phone into it. I shouldn't have to buy, I'm sorry, is this the Gear VR for the Note 4, or is it the Gear VR for the...
It would be good if it just had like adapters to fit the phone size, because one of the things is it has to snap in, so it fits perfectly. But yeah,
right, that could all be handled with adapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just. Let's see. Also from No Gaming, what do you guys think about the Surface 3 with it running full Windows? It is on my watch list. The fact that it's running full Windows makes it a bit more intriguing.
I'm compelled by it, but again, it runs on an Intel Atom chip, which so does my processor on my netbook here, which is $140. It has a real keyboard, and not to say the Surface keyboard. I don't know. I'm not crazy about the Surface keyboard, but some people like it, and it's $140 and not $500. But I think the Surface 3 looks nice. I like the pen support and stuff like that. Just $500 seems a little expensive to me for the processor you're getting. Intel Atom's not super powerful, but power to them for getting rid of Windows RT. That was awful.
Yeah, no, Windows RT was horrific. From Dean Norbert, what do you guys think about NVIDIA Shield console about cloud gaming? It runs Crysis 3. I'm still not convinced by cloud gaming. If you get the slightest bit of lag time, matter of fact, just last night I was playing Destiny PvP in the Crucible, and I had a situation where I shot a guy, he didn't die, he shot me, I died, and then it registered my kill on him.
That's annoying.
Yeah, and I had not, it wasn't a post-mortem, for those of you that play Destiny, sometimes with a grenade you can kill someone after you've died. It wasn't a post-mortem kill, it just simply finally registered my killing of him. And so that still tells me that even now there's still situations with cloud gaming. And if you're playing like a platformer, which can takes precise jumps and things like that, I'm just still not convinced by cloud gaming until internet speeds get up to being faster.
See, I've used the Shield tablet, which it's running the same cloud gaming platform, and it works really well. But I do have a really nice Netgear Nighthawk X6 router, which is not cheap. and I pay for pretty good internet speeds at home. So if you have the equipment that supports it, it runs pretty well. But otherwise, yeah, I think you might run into lag issues and stuff like that. But in my experience with NVIDIA Shield's cloud gaming, I haven't really run into any problems with that.
Yeah. And I also know that internet speeds aren't the be all end all when it comes. It's more about ping, but still, internet speeds do factor in as well.
Right.
We've got time for just one or two more questions here. From Benjamin McDonald. I'm buying a Moto 360. What apps do you recommend for Android Wear? I haven't used Android Wear in quite a while, actually, so I'm not sure.
My favorite, it's not even an app, it's the watch face. It's like Google's street art one. I really like it. It's, I guess, famous artists or something that create street art, and it just pops up different backgrounds they change throughout the day. That's probably my favorite one, the one I always install first. I don't really use that many apps on it. There's some good weather ones and stuff, because I'm always afraid battery life kind of drains quickly when you load up some of them. So I usually just stick to the notifications that I'm getting from my phone, and then just the different wallpapers or watch faces, if you will.
Okay. Alrighty. Brazen, I'm reading all your questions, and they're way over our heads on some of the computer stuff. I apologize for that, but that's just, if Joey was on this week's episode, he probably could answer a lot of these. So I think that is going to do it for this week. As always, we appreciate you joining us. We do appreciate if you can go over to iTunes and search for the TechnoBuffalo Show and rate and review us. That does help out the show. You can also subscribe to us there. You can also find us on Pocket Cast. You can find us on the Stitcher app, which means you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Or you can subscribe via RSS feed. Basically, anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find the TechnoBuffalo Show. Until next week, I'm Sean Ani. I'm the editor-in-chief of TechnoBuffalo, and I've been joined by Deputy Managing Editor Todd Hazelton.
Bye, everybody.
Until next week, take it easy. Talk to you then.